I see you were going at it with some people on Twitter, CP.
Yeah, it's that time of year. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, they wanted Tibbs Fan TV buried after Brown came in. I obliged. I never once mentioned the guy. I never once brought him up unless asked. Simple. However, there's this narrative now where the guy who built the foundation for this team had this team out of the dark ages, brought this team to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now there's a narrative that he's just some bum coach and none of these kids would have gotten an opportunity and all this like ridiculous stuff. I thought we were moving forward, but everybody, every single game wants to move back and evoke his name. For whatever reason, I don't know. So, I simply responded and said, this is absurd. You have 3 rotation players injured. Now, mind you, complete side note, nobody's blaming Mike Brown for a single one of these injuries. Not OG's hamstring, none of the ankle injuries, nothing. But that's neither here nor there because I was never a guy that was on to that. All these minutes is leading to injuries. I was never on that. You have 3 rotation players injured. Yes, Mike Brown is taking chances with all these kids. But they're also getting opportunities because of injury. And this is the same narrative that people would carry when Grimes got his opportunity, when Deuce got his opportunity, right? I was told it was only because of injury. It was only because of injury. So I'll ask you this. Let's go to Tyler. Case in point. Do you have, if you don't mind, if you can research Tyler Kolek on Basketball Reference, if you can do, let's do this actively. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead. And click on this season.
Mm-hmm.
Click on the individual games. And I want you to tell me how many minutes was Tyler getting when the squad was at full health? Remember, in the beginning of the season, he got double-digit minutes. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Who was out of that rotation?
Josh Hart.
Correct.
But but Coach Mike Brown also went 11 deep. Come on.
Sure. When Hart came back, can you run me Tyler's minutes when Hart came back? The next 5 to 10.
Yeah, it was under 5 minutes, man, that he was playing to not playing at all.
How many DMPs did he get?
That I do not know right now. Hold on. Where is it? Trying to find it right now.
There was a 30-second game in there. There was a 3-minute game in there. And there was probably 3 to 4 DMPs in there.
Yeah, there's 4 DMPs right here.
Okay. All I'm saying is, for one, give credit to the players for improving and working on their game. It's not a zero-sum game where it's just the coach that was holding the kid back. Tyler's working on his game. Everybody will tell you that from his trainers on down. And he's earning the opportunity. At the same time, this rotation is decimated by injuries. So you're also forcing the coach's hand to play these guys. And at the same time, he's being rewarded. But the idea that, oh, man, the old coach was never going to play these guys, he was never going to play, is totally wrong. I had a guy on Twitter, for example. Said, Tibs has never played McCullers 20-plus minutes on a night like this. Let's remember that, first and foremost, Kevin McCullers, they had no plans for Kevin McCullers to play last year at all. Last year was a rehab year for him. Secondly, we don't have to do this together, but the people at home would like to take a look at how many 20-minute nights a young Deuce McBride got with this team in his second year. Take a look for yourself, and then come back and tell me that Tibs wasn't playing the young guys.
He was playing them. He was playing them. But I would ask you this.
Level? No, obviously not to this level.
And I think that's the thing right there. It's to the level that we're seeing and to the degree, right?
Okay.
I mean, let's be thankful for last season where these guys were mostly healthy for the most part. And so Tibbs didn't necessarily need to go into the depth, but for I think what we're seeing right now, the trust in the young guys, even someone like Muhammad Diawara, Kevin McCullough, who you could even argue that this is truly his first year since last year was, all spent for rehabbing that injury.
Yeah.
Do you think Tibbs would have played these guys in these type of minutes, or would he just stuck with a lot of the vets and just played them 38 plus minutes because that's what he was going to do because they didn't earn it?
I think a player like a Diawara who leans defense first with those type of tools, I think he could get in this situation where players are hurt. I think he could get situational minutes.
Yeah, so situation. So what is that? 10 minutes less?
I think he could, and he looked good tonight. How about the three? Hit the three, came down, hit the block on somebody, had 2 blocks, then came down, brought the ball up. He looked good.
He did. I would push back and say I think Tibbs would not go to this extent to playing the young guys. Like I don't think we would see McCullough 23 minutes. I don't think I think if Kolek played the way that he did at the beginning of the season, we wouldn't see him for a lot longer. He'd play a few more minutes than what we're seeing right now, even due to the injuries. Because let's even go back to where we had Fournier, Kemba on this team, and guys just were not producing. And you're looking for the head coach to just say, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's find some answers over here. I remember like it was yesterday. Toronto, McBride goes out there, starting point guard, had a rough game.
Yep.
The next games that we look at are like 1, 2, 3 minutes here until like the Knicks are completely out of it. Then you put him back in there. And I think that's the bigger gripe that I think that's the bigger gripe, and that's the bigger complaint. And that's really the root of the issue here is that, hey, where you had Tibbs who would try something out, and if it didn't go that guy's way, it's like, all right, you're clearly not ready. We're going to shut you down almost. We're going to give you like the 2-3 minute situational minutes, as you said, and we're not really going to get any more than that. Whereas you look at Mike Brown here, and he's like, all right, you didn't play well to my liking in the beginning of the season, even while we were going 11 deep. Now, due to injuries, I'm going to give you another chance, and I'm going to see how you produce. And he's given these guys also the confidence to stay out there and learn through the mistakes, which I think is the bigger thing, man, that Tibbs didn't always let these guys learn through their mistakes, especially first, second year guys. And now you're seeing that with Mike Brown, even whether it be a first, second year guy, and it's paying dividends for him. So I think that's really where the root of the conversation is coming from.
Okay. Well, I'll say we'll see what happens when the squad is at full strength. That's all I'll say. We'll see what happens when the squad's at full strength. One of the questions people want to ask, what happens when Deuce comes back to Kolek's minutes and all of that? All right, let's see. Maybe he goes 11, 12 deep, maybe.
I mean, he did that out in Sacramento. He's more than comfortable doing that.
Okay. He did say he'd rather 8.5. Or what did he say? 9.5. Is that what he said?
I can't remember what he said, but probably like 8.5 for like a postseason is what he wants. But you know, during the regular season, he wants. I'm sure he's thinking about keeping guys fresh, keeping guys involved. I think the last thing that he wants to do is just take a guy out of rhythm, right?
Yeah.
So, like, would you rather have Cole just sit on, like, oh, thanks, Cole, you're playing really good right now. We're now going to shelve you because we don't need you anymore because McBride, Shamet, all these guys are back, and we're not going to keep you in rhythm because, God forbid, another injury happens or we need another playmaker. We're just not going to give you that time. I just do not see that working out very well for this team.
Hang on. Let me interrupt this conversation. We got a $200 super chat from our guy John Shin. Shout out to our guy John Shin, man.
Shout out to John
who says,
Shin.
hey, he says, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year's. Thank you, guys. Are we at 100K yet? Also, what the Kevin McCullough Jr. Shout out to John. TM, if we could put in the countdown, how many more to go to 100K, please let us know. Shout out to everybody that's on KnicksFanTV.com right now. Make sure you get your merch. 100 KFTV merch on the way. Immanuel Quickley. 10th in NBA Sixth Man of the Year in his second year. Second, and we also thought he should have won.
Should have.
In his third year under Tibs. We talked about McBride's come up. His next contract. Oh, by the way, he's having his best year of his career this year. His next contract. Maybe he'll cut Tibs a little check. Quentin Grimes. started in the playoffs in his second year. So I'm not going to say that, he play. It's not to the level of Mike Brown. It's not to the level of Mike Brown. But also, Mike Brown is dealing with a roster that 90% Tibs took to the Eastern Conference Finals. He's dealing with a full deck. And the experimentation that he's doing right now, Alex and people at home, is because, for one, we are trying to figure out where the last guy went wrong, where can we plug in the missing pieces to take us to the top. And yes, I will agree that part of the reason Tibs is in Bali right now with the $30 million is because he was not flexible with the rotations and was not flexible with the roster. I mentioned that. But I still think he deserves credit for the younger players that developed under his watch, the players that got paid under his watch. Those are all facts.
I'm not taking that away.
Those are
However,
all facts.
I'll ask you this question, though, about IQ and Quentin Grimes, because you were right. Immanuel Quickley should have won Sixth Man of the Year award, all right?
Yeah.
To all the people, shout out to my guy Chris Fedor, who voted for Malcolm Brogdon. Look, man, I still can't agree with you on that. But
Quentin Grimes started as a rookie.
Hold on. That was a rookie. Second year, my guy. Second year.
He started some games as a rookie. Look it up.
He started some games as a rookie, but he was a full-time starter second year. But to those two guys,
and they put the $17 million man on the bench.
Hey, hold on one second.
Go ahead.
What happened in the third year to Immanuel Quickley? Or actually, was it the fourth year for Immanuel Quickley?
What?
And the second year for third year for Quentin Grimes.
What about?
Oh, Grimes had a short leash. Bench for Dante. Done. Immanuel Quickley
Fan favorite.
was here. That was your Sixth Man of the Year guy. And how do you reduce his minutes?
You said what?
Reduced minutes for Immanuel Quickley. Fourth year.
Well, I got to look into that. I can't speak for all of that. I got to look into that.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I got to look into that.
You know for damn well what happened to Quentin Grimes, man.
Reduced minutes. You talking about reduced minutes. I just gave you, he finished top 10 Sixth Man of the Year and finished second in his third year.
And then why did he get that trust the fourth year?
I just gave you the number of 20-minute games that Deuce played in his second year. His next contract, he owes Tibs, and Deuce is classic example of a player developing under Tom Thibodeau.
Why would he have to owe Tibs? Hold on one second. Maybe if he said, hey, you know what, my man? If you played me more my second year and you didn't cut me, I could have got a bigger bag this year. Instead, I'm stuck on a $13 million contract.
Okay. Listen, all I'm saying is this. And G5, shout out to G5 in the Bronx, saying, can we give Mike Brown credit as opposed to Tibs? He's playing the young guys. That's not the point of the argument. I never once said don't give Mike Brown credit. I've been giving Mike Brown credit since he got here. Y'all gotta listen. The whole point is this. The Tibs Knox is absurd. He's in Bali enjoying his $30 million. Let the guy go. I didn't bring him up, Al. I never brought him up not one time this entire season. He's gone. He did his work. We thank him for his service. When he comes to the Once a Nick, Always a Nick barbecue, I'm going to stand up, give him a standing ovation. All of that. But every single game, these people with their Tibs derangement syndrome, right? Isn't that what they call it? TSD, TDS. Right? Isn't that what the people call it in politics? You Trump derangement syndrome? Well, you guys got Tibs derangement syndrome badly. Even when this Knick team is in first place, cooking on all cylinders, best team in the East, y'all still want to evoke Tibs. So maybe those people missed the guy. I don't know. Been ready to move on. I've been ready to move on.
You just start off your whole argument saying you thought Tibs Fan TV was buried.
I did.
You thought he was done.
They asked me to bury him. I did it. I gave the people what they wanted. But every single day, Tibs was holding us back. The guy that took us to the Eastern Conference Finals was holding us back because we should have been playing Tyler in that series against the Pacers. He would have got us a W. Knock it off.
DeLon Wright was the answer, actually, CP.
We come to these inflection points every year when I got to talk y'all into some sense, man. Let me charge my computer before we end the show prematurely. Yeah. So that's it. That's all I have to say. But I also think give credit to the kids for putting in the work. I keep telling these, this was not the same Tyler as last year. And if you think so, you're bugging.
Hold on, but wait. I said, you let me know. Did you agree with me when he did not look like this in Summer League? Tyler Kolek was washed. All right. Do you think if Tom Thibodeau saw that in Summer League, he's like, all right, man.
No, but
I'm giving you some playtime.
However, I also agree with some people who say the guys he was playing with weren't exactly, ahead of the class, if you will. By the way, that was a sleeper 80s show, 80s sitcom, Head of the Class. And some of my old heads in the chat will remember that show. That was a good show, Head of the Class. But anyway, he improved his game, man. He's much better.
Yeah, but my point is that if you saw Tibs, if Tibs saw Kolek in Summer League, he'd be like, absolutely not, man. I cannot play you whatsoever. We wouldn't even see him.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why? McBride was tossing bricks his first 2 years. Bricks. And became a vital part of this rotation, bro. Come on, man.
What do you mean, come on? And did he get enough? Once again, I said in his first year, after that Toronto game, he got sidelined because Tibs is like, you know what? I can't trust you. There's not enough here. 0.
Yeah, because he's not a point guard. And here he is in year 4, and guess what? He's not a point guard.
No one's saying for him to be a point guard, but he gave you stuff.
But that's what he had to do.
Could have given him an opportunity to go out there and show something.
That's what he had to do for that team that night. That's what he had to do. He had to run the point.
So you're telling me the head coach says, all right, man, I'm going to give you a chance at the point guard. You know what? You're not a point guard. Let me shove you and not even think of it any other chance to make you look good.
He said, let me bring you back when we can play at your A game, which is to be a sniper and play some defense, and that's what he's been doing the last 2 years. 11 points per game this year with 44% shooting from downtown. This is why the backup point guard spot is so vital and why Tyler is coming in here and getting those minutes.
Look, man, all I'm going to say is this. A lot of these young guys that we're seeing right now, Diawara, McCullough, Kolek, I don't think they'd be getting the amount of minutes or thriving the way that they are currently if you still had Tibs at the helm.
And you just answered it. Why they're getting the minutes. They're injured, my guy. Read the Tyler minutes once again. He went from 13 minutes a game in the first 3 games to 30 seconds to 3 minutes to the next 4 out of 5. DMP did not play when they were at full strength. Now, things are changing. I'm sure he's changing Mike Brown's mind here, and he's forcing his hand that when these guys are full strength, you're going to have to find some minutes for them. I'll be the first one to tell you that you got to find some minutes for them. It's going to be tricky, but all these guys are not going to be playing, bro.
They're not, and I think Kolek should get minutes. But look, we could go back to Quentin Grimes, the guy who you said was a starter the year before, got demoted, didn't get the confidence they needed from the head coach, and then was on the way out. Now he's out in Philadelphia playing a better basketball game than he did here.
It was a bad treat.
Who should have been on the trajectory of being like, you know what? As the head coach, seeing what Quentin Grimes did, especially in Game 5 against Jimmy Butler, on one leg getting the steal from him.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go into the next year believing in my guy because I know if I give him enough confidence, if I play him enough, he's going to be okay. But instead, what happens is they go out there, they get Dante, right? They have too many guards at this point, and the guys that did help him get to the second round, the young guys that he did develop, I'm not going to take that away that he didn't develop Grimes or Quickley, he reduced their minutes. And is that the way that you're saying, oh, thank you for your time here, this, that, and the third? And then after seeing that, you wanted me to believe that guys who don't even have the same pedigree as those guys are going to get the same amount of minutes? Come on, man.
What can I tell you, man? At Tips Fan TV, Alex, you got to earn your minutes, man.
Got to earn your minutes.
That's just the bottom line. Let's
go to
William.
I respect Tibs.
Yeah.
I respect Tibs. You know, I was never on the whole fire thing until last year, where it was like, all right, this is clearly not it. But look, I think that we got to be a little bit honest as to what the young guys would have gotten if Tibbs was still the head coach.
Well, I guess we'll never know.